Everybody, this is Dr. J and Professor Sparks. We're live from Long Island, New York, where the weather is gray.
Yeah,
Gray
just started,
skies coming out.
just started flurrying in 2 minutes ago.
Just kind of like Wall Street, where it's kind of gray.
Yeah, great.
Who are we going to blame? We're going to blame, I'll give you a multiple choice test. We're going to blame Janet Yellen. We're going to blame President Biden. We're going to blame Omicron. We're going to blame Jerome Powell, or we're going to blame Dr. J.
Yeah, right. Right. All of the above.
All of the above.
Including Dr. J.
You know, Dr. J at least warned on Sunday. I alerted everybody that the possibilities actually, I alerted everyone earlier when we were on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That there was some very close to turning a negative bent in the market. There's some key turning points that looked like they were close, and it still hasn't hit all my negative turning points. There's the Qs are above, and if they succumb, then it's really time to hide. But
see,
the biggest market to get killed is the IWM, the Russell 2000.
See, that would mean that it's more about the COVID, because we know that that high tech is going to survive COVID, as opposed to being about inflation or about anything else.
Yeah, I mean
that's if you read the tea leaves. That's the way I read the tea leaves.
Powell's remarks about inflation and suspending stimulus early didn't help.
Well, I know, but it was a well-dubbed moment when he said transitory. We could take the word transitory off. We knew we were going to go into a spiral because, a lot of people have money. A lot of people have nothing to buy it with. And there's a lot of people who aren't looking for work. And so that's a recipe for inflation.
Yeah.
So, so to say, oh, well, whether it's transitory or not, it's going to have to go through a cycle, and it's just like moving a big ship. What does transitory mean? All of 6 months?
No, nobody is using the word transitory anymore. It doesn't exist.
No, that's right. He said
they took it out of the dictionary. If you look at the Merriam-Webster dictionary, you can't find it. I think they made it up to begin with. This word.
That's like the word. That's like saying the word gullible isn't in the dictionary either. The word transitory was there for a little while, but it's not there anymore.
Not there anymore. It's gone.
It used to be there for a little while.
For a little while, yeah.
It was a word.
And then now you don't hear just supply side inflation. You hear, a lot of factors like you just rattled off. Demand, labor, all kinds of things.
I don't think it's gonna last long, but that's not the same as saying it's transitory.
I kind of think if you fix the supply chain problems, that'll go a long way.
Magnificent Answer says 6 years could be transitory if you look at it from a century perspective, which is definitely true. People like us do remember the late 70s, early 80s.
Like it was yesterday.
Like it was yesterday.
Like it was yesterday. Whip inflation now. Which president ran?
Oh yeah. I never got my little win.
I got my win button.
You have a win button?
Yeah, that was Jerry Ford.
Good old Jerry.
Jerry Ford. Whip inflation now.
But like we as regular people have control over that.
So that was.
I'm going to do my. It's like saying, look, I could say just say no. I could say no to drugs, but what am I going to do to affect inflation? I refuse to pay that higher price for my milk.
That was.
I refuse to pay the higher price for my gas.
Whip inflation now was 1975. 1975.
Yeah.
I got my win button somewhere in my drawer. And I might wear it next time on the show if, depending.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and Jimmy Carter beat him, but the inflation didn't get any better under Carter, really.
Right. I could start a farm, right? And then I could sell all my stuff at a loss.
Yeah.
Right, I
So,
may.
yeah. The magnificent answer is giving us some advice.
Yeah,
Pete
right.
is on
Well,
with us. We haven't seen Pete in a long time.
yeah, Pete, I think, between VBIV and ATHX, Pete feels the way we feel.
Yeah, and also throw in CTIC. There's two
Oh,
producers
me too.
today,
Yeah.
CTIC and VBIV, that I own both of. I own very little VBIV at this point, but I own a lot of CTIC. I did own a lot of VBIV, but I chickened out.
Did you? I'm still holding from way
But
back.
I've been making some wrong decisions lately, so probably if you hold the VBIV, it's a good idea.
At this point, I have no other choice. I'm just going to ride it. I mean,
These things are coin flips, these PDUFAs. There's virtually no way of knowing. And it doesn't matter about the action or the price action just before. The day of today, the day of the PDUFA, VBIV is up 15 cents and CTIC is down 40 from something like from 270 to 230. And VBIV
that's
is
exactly right.
up to around $3, I believe.
I'm sure Pete said he got in a little bit, probably like even lower than this.
Yeah.
Now, Pete, I was just talking about inflation. I don't think it's going to be stagflation because I think we have too many economic engines in gear for it to be stagflation.
Yeah, I don't think that it'll be stagflation either. And I'm not even sure that the inflation is going to get out of hand. I don't think it will.
Okay.
I don't think so, anyway. I think.
I mean, it's all relative to what did we have about about 10 years of like under 2%.
Yeah, I don't think it's even healthy for the economy to have near zero interest rates for such a long period of time. So
right. Those people in debt have to get out somehow.
I want to see a more normal economy with the interest rates hovering at around 10-year hovering at around 3%.
That would be nice. I'd actually even buy some bonds if that happened.
Yeah. I mean, give the retirees a break.
Well, except that like we said, give the if they're invested. I mean, the problem is that inflation is the biggest killer to people on a fixed income.
Yeah.
So rising interests aren't going to really help them unless they have enough new money to throw into it, and a lot of them don't.
So Pete is
sitting there languishing at 1%.
Pete has got a lot to say today, as does MA, and Mantis is with us.
Mantis is he's still rattling the teacups for
Novavax,
for Novavax.
And Andrew is with us, and Man is with us, and Jill Cashmore, top of the morning.
Top of the morning to you too.
Do you think Jill is coming to us from Ireland, or just loves to say top of the morning?
Well, I mean, she could be coming from Bay Ridge.
She could be coming from Bay Ridge.
And they say top of the morning there a lot too.
They do. All right, so it's more like
well, Massachusetts, for that matter.
It's more like the middle of the afternoon. So the top of the morning, if it's still morning by her, then we might California.
Right, the midnight sun.
Maybe she's coming to us live from LA.
That would make sense.
Yeah. All right, so let's do a little charting.
Yeah, we might as well.
I mentioned 6 stocks, but I also wanted to include a little bit of the global stuff. I know I talked about it on Sunday. Yeah, I kind of warned people to be vigilant on Sunday, that we were very close to some nasty, precipitous turning points if we went below those levels. We also had on the weekly on the SPY, we had a big engulfing candle, I believe.
When you did the weekly.
On the monthly, on something, one of the indices, we had a very ominous looking gravestone doji. On the Dow, we had a gravestone doji. On the daily, we had some confluence of factors, also some support levels that we were getting very close to that got me nervous.
Good
So
work, Pete.
I wanted to do that video just to warn people.
Yeah, well, I'd really be interested in IWM myself, just because that was the one that, you know, Professor Omar.
I didn't talk about that one per se, but let's look at that one on today's show. I
Okay.
recommend that if you haven't seen the 20-minute video from Sunday, you take a look at it. You'll see what I mean about a confluence of factors that could turn this market around to a 15%, 10 to 15% on the downside. That was my call. I hope it doesn't happen, and I don't know how much down we are already, but hopefully it doesn't happen.
All right, so
What am I sharing here? I don't want to share a slide.
I'm not sure. Yeah, MA was talking about this whole IWM business.
Yeah, IWM.
$1 monopoly money, right?
You know, IWM is a market. The market is not only AOL, which is AAPL, which is up every day.
Right.
AOL, I don't know why I keep thinking of AOL. Anyway, once upon a time, AOL was the apple of one's eyes.
You know something? It still is. Isn't that one of the only ones that's not busting right now?
I don't know.
I'm glad to see you got your computer working again. Except for the mic.
Is there a problem?
No, we're good.
You can see my screen or no?
I can see your screen now, yes.
No good?
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're just waiting for some charts.
All right. All right, let's start with the Qs, which is the best of the indices. This is the one that hasn't collapsed. This one collapses, then it's time to duck.
Yeah.
This one is being buoyed up by the likes of Apple and Amazon and all of those techie stocks.
Right. But yeah, it's by and large, nobody's really thinking that we're going to be going back into the closet again. So the tech dominance based on Omicron doesn't seem to make sense.
The S&P the Dow is down 1.5%. The Nasdaq is down 1.4%. The Russell is down 2%, and the Qs are down 1.36%. The best of the worst.
Yeah.
But it's held up. I'll show you what I mean. Compared to the rest, it's held up rather well. My computer is slow. I saw some freezing issues before. You froze, I froze. It's loading slowly, but we'll get through it. This is the weekly, and this is the candle I was talking about for the weekly. You see this big engulfing? This was Friday's candle. Very yucky. I don't like that at all. So that was one of the many factors that that went into my wanting to make that video on Sunday. This engulfing is just one of many, one of let's say 3 or 4 or 5 reasons that I had. Anyway, let's look at the daily. On the weekly, you can see where the support is very clearly down here at 350, which would be a nice little drop of 40 points or 10 more percent, which is, what I think very well may happen. I think we may come down to that level, at 350 level. It's a contrarian call because most everybody on Wall Street is saying Santa Claus rallies and the market shaking off Omicron and shaking off all the bad news. But it's not really, because if you look at the broad market, it's already collapsed on the Russell, which we'll take a look at that already in a minute. But this is the high was made last week, 408.71. So we're 14 points off that high, which is about 2.5% already. I think we go down another 10% for a total of about a 13% correction on the Qs. And I think this will be the worst of the corrections. I think the other market, well, no, the Russell will be the worst. But this,
Right.
the SPY, I think won't be headed hard, in my opinion. I'm still of the opinion, though, that we will correct. Minority opinion. Most people are not of that opinion. I just want to point that out, that I'm taking a minority view here. Hasn't stopped me before from making calls being in the minority. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. And okay, let's look at the S&P. Or I wanted to look at the daily.
All right.
All right, so this is the key level that we want to keep. 387.50. We take that out, I think it's big trouble. I think then we go down to
And look up below.
Yeah, then it's 350 to 1, the same 350 from the weekly. So we're not at the point where I'm really calling for 350 yet. I want to see it take out. I don't want to see it, but if it takes out 387, then I think
That's an inflection point right there.
I'd rather be wrong on this one.
Or even 380.
Yeah.
Because you have a nice inflection point right there.
This low, 387.50. If it takes that out, I think the next stop is 350, which would make for 13% correction. That's on the Qs. And now let's look at the SPY. SPY already took out a candle similar to that. That's why I say it's more clear that we're correcting on the SPY. You see, this was the candle that worried me here. And once we took that out, I had to do that. I'm of the opinion that we're going down lower than that, lower than where we are. We're down 1.6% already.
So this is on the daily.
Okay, so we took this very key candle out, lower that day out. We're looking for support here at the 50, 45.36. We blow past that, then we're looking at 43, probably looking at 42.75. 42.75 is my call.
Wow. Oh, all right. We're talking about the beginning of October.
Yeah, 42.75.
All right.
On the S&P 500. And
you get any extra insights on the weekly on
this candle I didn't like over here. I did not like this candle on the SPY. It's a Gravestone Doji, but I felt encouraged by the fact that 11:22 intraday we traded above that candle's high, but it didn't close above it, it closed below it. So this candle scares me when it comes at the top of a long rally on the SPY. Let's look at the weekly or the monthly. I don't know. How does the monthly look? Monthly is looking like pretty much like a Greystone doji as well. A lot of confluence of factors, you see. The weekly
It's weak.
is weak.
You're not showing your nibble yet. And so it's the same thing with the weekly on the Russell. It's just,
Yeah,
it's not necessarily a falling knife, but it's not recovering yet.
no. Yeah, I mean it's just ugly. The 50-day would be below the red root line even, so or just about red
Yeah,
root line,
the beginning
which
of
is
October.
42.78. Same low. Same low. Whether I look at the weekly, the monthly, the daily, I see the same thing on that. And we'll end with the IWM on the global market, and then we'll do the ones I have listed.
Sounds good.
IWM is very ugly, but it's still trading within its range. It traded above its range for a while. Let me make a smaller, more normal looking picture.
Yeah, something from the beginning of the year. Well, actually, this is only 6 months, right?
More than that.
Oh yeah, okay, right. I get it. All right. I was looking at the axis wrong.
So the
It's 2
low
years.
is 207.21. 207.21. Right about that. You can draw the picture beginning here. So that's a lot of months. Actually, you could draw it beginning here, beginning of February, 2-1. Basically from the beginning of the year. We've been in this trading range on the IWM.
Mm-hmm.
We broke above it. I got very excited, but that didn't last so long, did it?
No, it did not.
Yeah, very nasty pullback to the lower end of its trading range. Now, if it hits like 209, 210, and bases right there, then I will take a sigh of relief. But if it goes below the where I drew the line, then all bets are off. It could be big trouble, as we don't have really clear-cut support in my mind until we get to a very low number, 142.
Yeah,
So
well,
that would be an extreme.
that would be very extreme.
That would be
That was just
the
what we picked up. That's what we just picked up after COVID.
9/21/2020. We take
Yeah,
us back. Yeah.
I mean,
But
it could happen, but that would be a lot.
it could definitely happen. If it closes if it starts the week and closes the week below this line, then I certainly think it's in the cards. But more likely, just a more normal correction to the 210 area, to this area, right? Let's say this low, 209.05. That area, I think, holds. So I think we're almost done with this correction, if that's the case. But at the same time, the Qs never really started to correct. So I don't know. I know every market has its own character, but will the Qs correct further while the Russell consolidates? I don't know. This has been our weakest market. So it's very unclear to me as to where the bottom is, whether it'll be 209 or it'll be all the way back down here. But it's danger at this point, in my mind. All right. Speaking of danger, we have a lot of dangerous stocks that we're in that are due out for producers.
Right.
Let's start with, actually, let's start with non-Purdue stock. CRISPR. Kathy Wood continues to buy. Jim Cramer became bullish on it. Now, I don't know if those are bullish signs or bearish signs, but they're facts. And we're up on the day, and I think we have a positive picture on the RSI. Let's take a look. Where's my RSI? RSI is just about above oversold, and I think it touched below 30. So the RSI touched 26, I think. Oh, I don't know how much lower it went, but it's right about 30. Whenever it gets this low in the past, it's gone back up to 70, along with a big rally. So that's bullish. The falling knife maybe has finally stopped falling. It would be weird.
Well, it's moderating a little bit.
It would be a little bit weird if the gene editing stocks rallied while the rest of the market fell. But then again, the gene editing stocks fell while the rest of the market rallied. So in this market, anything is possible. But here's the situation with the RSI, 1217, 18, and when it did nothing but rally till 722.19. And then again, over here on 10/7/2019, it had a big rally to overbought on 11/25/19. So every time we've had this touch at or near the 30, it's gone back to 70 fairly quickly or over a period of time, with big moves attached to it. So I don't usually pay that much attention to the RSI, but hey, I'll take any indication of a positive upturn in CRISPR.
Right.
I guess I want it so badly. I'm continuing to nibble on it, by the way.
Yeah, well, it's showing the signs right now.
Yeah, maybe. At least I see something that I can point to.
Right.
And also, it's hovering near the 200, just above the 200. So maybe it finds support at the 200. The other bullish note is that it still has a 50 well above the 100, well above the 200. So technically, from that point of view, we're still in a bull market. I like CRISPR. I like all the gene editing stocks, as you know. Which one you want to do? VBIV? I got a message from Arjun.
Yeah.
Arjun expects it to pass.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, both of them.
He did tell me though that as all PDUFA plays, trim in the pre-market if it passes.
Right.
Trim in the pre-market or however you want to play it. But that would be Arjun's suggestion on VBIV. We had a nice trend line going, but it got messed up. We're below trend now, but at least touching the trend line. It looks like the 100 is trying to be support. Anyway, tomorrow's news is going to have a big impact, at least temporarily. So it doesn't pay to spend too much time on these.
Well, you know, the pennant is hitting its point today, which is about
Yes,
right.
which is the right time for it to be doing that, right? But,
Right, and the way it's set up, it's indicating an up, not a down.
that's a very good point.
Yeah, I was going to leave even steeper than that actually.
Well, what do you want to do? Throw these lines out?
Not your lines.
You
No, I
want
was
to
gonna. I was
narrow it?
actually gonna. I was gonna use the. I was gonna use the big high as the other point for
Oh,
touching.
this one?
Yeah, because if you take that one down, you really hit convergence now.
You're
And I was
ready
gonna go
for
along the
it.
top. I was gonna go along the top of the other ones.
All right.
That more recent downtrend. You know, I don't know how many hits you would get for that, but that's what I'm seeing. And then skate right along the top. Yeah, that's what I would do.
That's
And that
good.
tells me that today's the day of action.
Yep, that's true. And it has perfectly valid trend line, 3 hits on that trend line. So
Anyway,
that works.
so
Okay,
at least for the technicals, I'm bullish.
CPIC, the other PDUFA. The other PDUFA. Go on the
Get rid of these other
weekly.
lines.
On the weekly. Let's go to the daily. We had a great big rally that collapsed today as it sold off 40%. It had been 271.
Would you call that an engulfing or no?
What I call it what?
An engulfing candle.
Where today? No.
Well,
because
I guess not. Let me see.
No. Yeah.
See if I do it on the weekly, if it shows.
Because the upper wick is higher than the high today. It's no engulfing. Right. It's just a yucky candle.
Yeah.
Very yucky.
It's right on.
It's getting ready for that CRL, in which case it'll go to about 88 cents.
That's what it looks like, doesn't it?
Yeah. It was too high over here for the CRL, so fits more nicely.
Oh, well, actually, yeah. I mean, any of the prior news has not been good.
I really don't pay much attention to the movement the day of the PDUFA. It could be either way. It might be a better sign that it goes down in terms of approval than if it goes up. I've seen it happen so often that it's crazy. Yeah. It defies logic. It goes down on the day and it gets approved. Or it goes up on the day and it gets turned down. So you get that coin.
Yeah, get that coin out.
Get that coin out. I still have a lot of it. I didn't hedge, taking a shot with it. So I will be trimming in the morning if this does get approved. I won't sell all of it, but I'll trim. Like VBIV, I might just get rid of because I don't have that much of it. But this one, I'll keep some on approval. If it doesn't get approved, I'll just jump out the window with the stock. I'm fully aware that this is a 50-50 play. I believe the VBIV to be 50-50 as well.
Uh-huh.
Okay, what else?
Well, somebody was asking, believe it or not, somebody's asking why we haven't done Amazon in a while.
Oh, I'll do it. But first I want to do another interesting one. It doubled in the pre-market and came back to where it started from.
Which is that?
Althesys. It hit $2 in the pre-market.
It
I
did?
didn't, yeah, but I didn't
Oh,
see
boy.
it, but it's listed under the trades at $2. I've seen it as
Wow.
high as 1.25 pre-market. It was old news about the phase one, phase two odds trial, and they published it in some journal and caused it to pop. You know, the old news could be interpreted as new news, but it's not new news; it's old news, polished up a little.
I see.
So there was no reason for that run in the pre-market. I should have just dumped whatever I had. I knew there was no reason for it, but you know, I just didn't. And I would have bet any amount of money would be close to where it started the day at a 101 by the end of the day.
Uh-huh.
It's actually doing pretty good. It's better than 101. It's up on the day and it's up 6% still. So, you know, be thankful for small things. It's still a long, long wait for this one. That's in my mind. I don't think you get any real new data till the second quarter of 22. Now you want to do Amazon?
Might as well. Still got a little more time.
I'm waiting for 4,000 and I'm waiting for that 10 to 1 split.
Okay.
Today is not the right day to look at Amazon. But I mean, it's just been an unbelievable stock. It will continue to be an unbelievable stock. It almost doesn't matter, you know, the particular day that you buy it, because in the long run, you're going to make money on it. Of course, you know, you'd rather buy it down here than all the way up there. I understand that. There's enough hits to make this a trend line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know, Amazon, if the market, if the Qs succumb, this is going to succumb. What can I tell you? It will succumb, and it probably will succumb to a number pretty close. Well, probably around here would be where I would think it would succumb to, maybe this turning point. Probably this one. So this is a low, pretty low. If the market sells off, Amazon will sell off with it. So will Apple, believe it or not, eventually. They'll sell off. 32.72 is where I see it dipping to on a sell off, 10% more.
Another 10%.
Does that make sense? I think so. So that area it is support, and if it gets through that, you're looking at very strong support right in here at 31.75. No matter what, you just keep buying it. It's going to be 4,000 in a matter of a few months after it bottoms. So, what difference does it make? That's how I see Amazon. It's a buy and hold, or buy and sell much higher, whatever however you want to play.
Buy high, sell higher.
Yeah. And
you listed CRXT on your list.
This is an Arjon play. He was going to come on and talk about it, but he has conflict today.
I see.
He made sure to tell me to buy this below 5.25 yesterday. I put in an order at 5.11. It hit 5.20, and it popped to $8 pre-market. Arjan
Wow.
has been hot with these calls. He's been very hot. So he's out of it already.
Yeah, he went in and out. Smart man.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the company, the fundamentals to talk to it, but let's reserve this one for when Arjan does finally make it to the show. He can
If there's
talk.
anything to talk about by then.
I know there was a merger with another company, and they do have one drug that they're selling already. I think it's testosterone pill, I believe.
Okay.
But I'm not sure, not familiar with their pipelines enough to talk about it. And the chart, it found resistance at the 100. And pre-market went through it, but it found resistance at the 100, 714, which is, on the day, not the greatest candle because it's showing a decent amount of volume on a very actually what's turned out to be an up day on a big red candle. Not my favorite kind of day, technically.
Well, you would have gotten out. You would have gotten out before the market anyway. All right. We have a little bit of time.
Yeah, I know.
Pete wants to know what you think about lithium, about whether or not it's safe to go back into electric vehicles.
And I like LIT. I like GDX. I like GBTC. I like all of these plays. I think they're good long-term plays.
Yeah, no, I've been holding on to this one for about 6 months now.
I'm sure you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm not. This is one of the few I'm not crying about.
Yeah. I like the chart. I think you buy on any pullback. So that's you're going to need lithium.
Yes, I also I got into some of the more. I got into Albemarle and a couple of the others that were mentioned in CNBC when they talked about the industry. Those are weakening these days.
Lithium is not the only metal that goes into making these batteries.
Right. There's also nickel. I wanted to get into some of the other metals.
And the Chinese
cadmium and copper.
The Chinese are corner the market on the cadmium, right?
Yeah. Well, that's that much harder.
It used to be they bought it on the cheap from some African country. Was it South Africa? I'm not sure. They bought it on the cheap. They practically got it for nothing. They caught the market in. Yeah, Pete, I like lithium.
The play he was doing. Let me see here.
What else was there?
He was saying this is what he said. He said AMD. You want to know about that?
AMD is
AEMD. Yeah.
AEMD is agnostic as to the spikes in the protein. So it doesn't care, right? It'll work just as well on Omicron as it'll work on any other form of coronavirus.
If you're really seeing this as a credible COVID play. I don't know. I mean, I'm still in it, but I'm thinking it might be too expensive for COVID.
No,
it's better for something heavy hitting.
No,
you got to give everybody the Keith Richards treatment.
This one has unbelievable potential, 10 bag of potential overnight. But you got to wait because it's going to be months before data is released on their feasibility study. So it's one that you don't have to hurry to buy, I guess. But I'm collecting it, like you collect stamps.
Right. I know you've been buying and buying all along.
Yeah, I'm collecting it. I'm adding it to my collection. So I'm buying it on the cheap here.
Yeah, no, indeed, you're certainly getting bargains these days.
I think as time goes by, as we get closer to it, like March of next year, yeah, I think you'll see a big rise in this stock if COVID is still a factor. And it doesn't look like it won't be, right?
No, not until we run out of letters in the Greek alphabet.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Jill
hoping,
Cash
I'm
was giving a
hoping-
request for AVXL at some point, or the Alzheimer's plays in particular.
Sava?
No, AVXL. That one actually had a weird move. It went up and then went back down again. That's the one.
So,
Because they were I think they're in the midst of some sort of conference, and you know how volatile these stocks get when they're in the conference.
holy mackerel. Yeah, it looked like it was going to break out. Now it just gave it all back.
Yeah, no, I know. Believe me, I was pretty bummed about that because I've been holding this one for the longest time.
I think the two that interest me the most are still Sava and Innovis, but you could play any of them.
Sava had some not so great news recently.
What was that?
Something about it was beyond the whole issue about what the fraud issue was gone, but then it was about the effectiveness of the overall approach.
Oh,
It was just a little rough wave in the water. I don't think it's going to make a big deal.
that was just a bullshit short attack. That's all it was.
I'm right, exactly. I'm not going to get
Talking about the whole business about misfolded proteins. Well, what the hell do you think causes the Alzheimer's? It's misfolded proteins.
okay. So you're right. So you're not taking it seriously at all, which is fine.
No, it's all bullshit.
Yeah. So if you want to look at one of the other plays that you like better, like Innovis or Sava, just for
Okay.
counterbalance.
Let's look at, I like
And then we can
Sava
think about calling it a day.
and Innovis about equal. But I like Sava a little more. So
Innovis didn't come back. You see how Sava came back after that big hit job?
yeah.
Innovis didn't come back after its hit job.
Well, no, it wasn't a hit job. It was for real. The data sucked.
No, my understanding was that it just wasn't presented right.
No, I think the data wasn't really that great.
Gotcha.
The Sava data stood out as being better.
Yeah, but even this one didn't hold on to it came back, but it didn't hold on to it. And now it's just sort of teeter-tottering.
Are we talking about Sava? Are we talking about...
Yeah, right now, the one you're showing right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's actually put in an okay candle today. It tried to go down, failed in its attempt, and came back to a very modest gain, a modest loss rather. It had been down much more on the day.
Not a big
So
deal, Joe.
it broke 50, 49.62. So I rate this an okay candle. It ruins the upward little trend, the upward trend that we had going for us, but
Right.
nevertheless, it's not the worst candle in the world. And there's good support, fairly close below. So, what does this line take us to? About $40.
Right.
Good support around there. I like
For a
it.
while, we were thinking that this was a $100 stock.
I think
in
all
July.
the attacks on it is just shorts trying to capitalize. Of course, SEC could find them guilty of some infraction. It's possible.
Right. Yeah, Pete's starting to lose faith also.
In Sava?
Yeah. We also have a request. I guess we could end with this one, PaySafe, because we hadn't talked about that one in a while, and it really has been in the doldrums for quite a while.
This is the one where the CEO said, I can't sugarcoat the results, they suck.
I believe so. Yeah, this is the question. The question is are we at rock bottom at this point or not?
I
I
think
mean,
so.
at this point, I can't say we are because we just had another red candle today.
Yeah, but relatively speaking,
Yeah,
how low can it go? This is not going to zero. I'll guarantee it.
we know it's in a good space, but
And there's
actually, right now, even the gambling stocks like like Barstool and DraftKings are all in the doldrums too.
as gambling gets more and more traction, more and more legalization, I think you'll see this one make a move. It might take
Right.
6 months to a year, but it'll come back. Let's draw the line at $3.
Okay.
You could start accumulating this one, in my mind.
Yeah, averaging down a bit for me, but
Yeah, yeah. Is that it? Did we do everything?
I pretty much. I mean, there are a couple here and there. Like Man was asking about AUPH.
AUPH. Well, let's defer that. MA's got the answer. $80 a share mid-year 2022.
Because okay, so you guys are still pretty happy, but still
I'm going to
still
defer.
positive on it.
I'll defer to MA on this one.
Okay.
MA, what's the story? $80, $50? It's going to be bought. I just don't know for how much.
Well, I mean, a lot of that talk,
It'll be bought.
sort of went nowhere.
No, I believe there was an offer. BMY approached and an offer was rejected. They couldn't get, it wasn't close enough to what they wanted. So it collapsed instead of going up, it collapsed. It reminds me of Yahoo when they had a big offer on the table and didn't take it.
Understood. This is actually starting to hit the prices where I bailed at it a year ago, so it might be worth looking at again.
Yeah, I like it.
Because at that point, I thought I missed the boat, but maybe I didn't.
No,
I think this is a good place to end. If I could also tell by you owning it.
Aurinia Pharmaceuticals will be taken out sometime in 2022 at some price above where it's trading now.
And there you go.
Whatever price that may be. I want to thank all our viewers for once again suffering through the insufferable Dr. J and Professor Spike show.
Dog duty.
2 thumbs up for the effort that we put in. Let's put in another 2 thumbs up for VBIV and CTEC, which hopefully will get.
Oh yeah, actually, it's 2 of these.
2 of these. Hopefully get approved.
They get approved and they go up. This is worse than my trifecta.
Ciao. Andrew,
we'll see you later, guys. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Check out that video on Sunday. It's in 20 minutes worth your time.
Yeah,
Bye,
it's
everybody.
worth it. Bye-bye.
Bye.